All right, hello and welcome. This is Farm Life, and I'm glad to be shooting today's video in this new chicken structure. As you can see, it's a new look for us here. You've never seen our house like this. We have our birds. We just finished brooding a week ago, and it's entirely a very good experience just sitting here in this chicken structure. This is a milestone for me. As small as this might look to you, it's a great milestone for me. And how do we get to brood birds? From the first day, from day old, right on to 21 days, up to even 31 days, in a way that they perform very well during this first stage, in a way that mortality is reduced, in a way that we minimize sickness. And even if they get sick, how do you manage that to make sure that still at the latter end mortality is reduced? Is the reason I'm doing today's video. So if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you get notified each time we drop a video. This is Farm Life. So here is our farm, and right in my background we have over 520 or so birds, and it's a great success for me. It's a great milestone for the farm, considering where we started from. And to say that we have 500 birds on our farm now, it's quite an amazing thing to talk about. So talking about brooding is just that season where you give your birds that intensive care, because they are still very tender. It's their first days on the earth. It's their first days of life on the face of the earth. That intensive care that you give to them to make sure they don't die, to make sure they don't fall sick. And you should watch this video to the end, because somewhere in this video I'll be sharing with you three very important medications and supplements that you should always have on your farm, no matter what. So watch the video to the end, because I'm going to do that at the end. So I'm going to do this in two ways. I will talk about the preparation before the birds arrive, and what and how you get to handle the birds even when they get to arrive on the farm. So the first thing that you have to do even before your birds arrive, maybe if you have ordered for your birds already, you must make sure that you get a brooder ready. So a brooder is that specialized environment you create that will keep your birds very warm. So you've got to provide a safe brooder for your birds. You've got to make sure you have cardboard available or some sort of a brooder paper available to make sure that life for those birds, their first days on the earth, is easy. You also need to make sure you get your heat source available, whether you'll be using charcoal or you'll be using heating bulbs. But for me, my birds were not heated on this farm. We did our brooding in an off-site location, because my most affordable heat source here is using the heating lamps. Charcoal is very expensive, and other heating sources is quite expensive to manage here. So the only thing I had to do, I had to carry my birds to a location in town that had electricity, because this current location, within the period when we were brooding these birds, had no electricity. So that period I had to relocate the birds to another location that had electricity, so that we can enjoy brooding, so that we can make sure to provide the birds with just the required temperatures. Talking about temperatures, you must make sure that within the first 3 days in the farm, the birds should be exposed to temperatures of like 35 to 38 degrees. That's within the first 3 days. It also depends on generally the temperature within the region you find yourself. But for my location, it's quite cold here, not very cold, but 35 to 38 degrees Celsius is a good deal within the first 3 days. And as the days keep going by, you must keep dropping the temperature. So like I said, day 1 to day 3, you maintain a temperature of like 35 degrees to 38 degrees, and as the days keep going by, you can keep taking off 3 degrees Celsius on a daily basis. From day 7 to day 14, you can maintain a temperature of averagely 21 to 27 degrees Celsius, and then from day 14 to day 28, you can maintain a temperature of around 16 to 21 degrees Celsius, depending on the location where you find yourself. If you live in a very cold region, of course, you just need to make sure the birds are warm. You need to make sure you monitor the heat. It should not get overheated, otherwise you get the birds stressed out. They can get sick, they can even die. So even without the use of a thermometer, how you are able to manage and control and monitor the temperature within the brooding house is it's just very simple. Yes, when the temperatures are low, what you'll notice is that you'll find the chicks coming very close to the heat source, or you'll find them clustered in corners, in angles, clustered very close to each other, and the chicks may become weak, and in extreme cases they can even die due to overcrowding. A stampede can occur.
Yes, so if you find your birds coming too close to the heat source, or you've always find them clustered in one angle due to low temperatures, you should find an alternative way of adding heat. Maybe you should add a second heat source, maybe a second charcoal pot, a second bulb. And then how you are able to know that the temperature is very, very high without the use of a thermometer, as I've earlier mentioned, is that the chicks tend to stay away from the heat source, and you will notice some of them sleeping with their wings open, and their breathing rate increases with open beaks. So when you notice this, you notice the birds panting, know that there's excessive heat in the house, and you can manage this. You can turn off some of the heat source, you can open the window for fresh air to circulate inside. And talking about a conducive temperature, you'll find the chicks evenly distributed throughout the brooder. They will engage in their normal eating and drinking activities. You'll see them active. There will be no clustering. Everything will just be evenly distributed.
So you've got to monitor your temperature closely and regulate it as need be. Now, talking about their feed, during the entire brooding period, you are going to stay on the starter feed. Whether you're doing broilers or you're doing layers, you have to maintain starter feed for your birds. So talking about preparing the brooder, you need to get the heat source ready. Whether you're using charcoal or using heating bulbs, you need to get wood shavings available. But before they get on the wood shavings, you need to get brooder paper available for them. You can either use brooder paper or use cardboard, as I've earlier mentioned. You also need to make sure that their waterers, their drinkers, and their feeders are all available. Now, talking about their feeds, I want you to know that within the entire brooding period, the birds should be consuming the starter feed, and the starter feed should have like 18 to 20% of protein. You will not know how to do that, but get good starter feed from somebody or from a source you trust, and let the birds have access to fresh and clean water. And after the 21 days, you can switch the feed now to the grower feed, but strictly within the brooding period, let your birds eat just the starter feed. The next thing I want to talk about are their vaccines. I did a video on the channel on vaccines. You should watch that video. But vaccination is something you don't want to joke with. So make sure the birds have the vaccine, and use the vaccination schedule given to you, maybe by your poultry expert, or maybe by your vet or the person that supplies you with poultry products. Conclusively, you must make sure that the brooder is kept clean. Maintain hygiene, maintain cleanliness, make sure that the birds are safe. One challenge that is very, very common in brooding is breakout of diseases like coccidiosis, and I'm going to tell you how to manage that, because during those first days on the farm, the drinkers are very, very close to the floor, so the probability of litter dropping into that drinker and the birds drinking that litter is very, very high, and this can lead a lot to coccidiosis, or what we commonly call diarrhea. So how you handle this is that as the birds get older in age, you keep stepping the drinker up until when you are able to install the automated drinkers that will completely be suspended up to the air. And should, in case you discover signs of your birds having coccidiosis or diarrhea of any sort, make sure you start giving them drugs as fast as possible. It truly kills. You can lose out a greater number of your flocks to that. So practice hygiene. One of the things you should have on the farm is a first aid box, and that first aid box, I'll give you 4 kinds of drugs you should have there. Number 1, antibiotics, vitamins for stress, drugs against coccidiosis, and drugs against an infection like doxycycline. So get those drugs available in your first aid box and make sure you administer them as prescribed. You must also make sure you observe and you monitor your birds closely. You find birds that are weak around you, you should be able to help them, give them medications. Some of them at times will not even want to drink. You have to help them. There are many times for me to help my birds not to die off, if I discover a bird is sick, I literally have to get a syringe and I get the medication into the mouth of that bird, because most times when they are sick, they will not want to eat, they will not want to drink, and if they don't drink the medication, you know they will not get well. So many times you have to monitor your birds. If you have birds that are weak, birds that are sick, you just need to help them. You just need to help them, give them the medication, make sure they have water, make sure they eat to be strong. And the last thing I will say as I conclude is I must make sure that you have accurate records. Keep records of your bird, the number of birds, the vaccines they are taking, the ones they have taken, the ones they are yet to take, the feed they have consumed so far. You take their weight and be sure that their weight are as it should be. So if you get to put all of these things together, I'll assure you that you are going to have a successful brooding experience, just like me here. Come on, these guys are doing well. They are doing well. Their weight and everything is just right within target. Brooding was done very, very well, and I've just shared with you the simple things I practice, from their temperature, from the hygienic conditions, from their vaccines, from water and feed. Everything I've said are just the things that have contributed towards me having a successful brooding experience. And thank you for watching the video up to this end. I'm just wishing you the best in your farming journey and hoping to see you when I upload our next video. From here, I say bye bye.